shut this one down. Move this one over. What's up? Should be live. It stays this one. See if we can get the Stream Deck moved over. There we go. Welcome, everybody back. Shut this guy down. We're gonna move over the 750 Ti rig over here. Got a pretty full night for you guys tonight. We're gonna go through all three of these. I want to start with the 750 Ti tonight. We already kind of covered this one. I just put Windows on it. Probably still need to do a few other things to it. Didn't have a lot of time this evening. I was trying to deal with some other stuff. But we are going to get into this right now. We're going to move over this build. I've been letting it run for about, I don't know, half a day. Trying some different settings just to see if she's stable. It is pretty well stable. I mean, I haven't had any real issues until I tried to take it to like 1,000 megahertz, but I think this will be a good build for us to go through. We'll go through costing on all of them, and then kind of we'll go through the details in the build. I kind of set an agenda where I just want to go through the breakdown of the rigs, cost of everything for you guys, construction, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll go through kind of what makes sense based on what you're looking to get, looking to build. We'll put this over here for a second. We'll power this guy down. I think this guy's actually up right now. We'll bring it over here so you guys can get a better look at it. Make sure everybody can see me. Got about 20 people in right now. These are the EVGA super clocks. Which are the pretty standard ones that you can get. They're not the SSCs. They're not like the For the Win edition. Here we go. Let me shut this down. And I'm going to move it over here so you guys can see it better and we can have this mini cam on it. Just trying to get all this done before, but I was having to deal with some stuff that we'll get into later when we're waiting for something. We're going to have a nice little philosophical conversation. Get this moved over. Before we fire it up too, I'll give you guys a nice little close-up of this build. I want to make sure I'm covering a lot of the questions. I try to go through some of the questions that we deal with on all the builds that I get after the builds. Like, how did you power it? Meaning, like, not just the power supply, but how did you hook everything up? So we're going to try to go through that tonight to give you guys kind of an awareness on how the rig comes together when you start plugging stuff in and why the power supplies that we use, that kind of stuff. So, you know, most of the stuff that we use here is usually retail power supplies. If you're starting to work at scale, you could go with more of a aftermarket custom power supply, something like this. Huh?
How did it still have the lights on when you unplugged it?
Which one?
The one you just put over.
This one?
Yeah.
That's the capacitors on that 1300 are so strong that they're holding up energy, and it'll drain that. That light doesn't pull too much. It's like 0.8 of a watt. And there's
And
like,
it just won't die.
I know, it's the gift that keeps on giving for a little bit. So you guys can go with something like this, you know, where it has a lot of your 6 and 8 pins. This is about a $90 to $100 power supply, and it's about 2,400 watts. However, if you were to break this rig down, use that power supply, if you wanted to get out of the mining space, trying to resell this one, I mean, I'm kind of neutral on it, I guess, if it's good and it's been running, which this has done very well. It does hold at least the $90 value to somebody that's going to be doing mining, but they may kind of feel sketchy. It's a China power supply. You've used it. You know, do you want to invest that much? You could just buy a new one for 90. You're probably not going to get much out of that. Where like the 1300s, the 1600 T2s, those kind of power supplies, I mean, those are going to hold value for a while, and they have good warranties on them. So getting a warranty replaced and all that stuff is real good for commercial power supplies. So, or the normal retail power supplies. So a lot of people ask us, why do you guys use that? I wanted just to answer that question. That's why we really use it. If you're going to reuse it or resell it, it's good. It holds its value. Power supplies hold their value pretty well, and they hold years of value, because I mean, mining goes very cyclical, and it comes back, and you know, if you have a 1500, 1600 watt power supply, you can get practically retail pricing for it. So this build, we're using a 1300 G2 power supply. These are the GTX 1070Ti's. They're the super clock. I think I have a box right here. So these are the ones that we went with. EVGA, there's nothing special to this box. It looks a lot of the same packaging design as the normal series of this. Has that nice aluminum shroud. Pretty straightforward. Single 8-pin, which allows the 1300 G2 to go straight into it and have enough cables for an 8-card build. We did have to use these little 6 to 8-pin connectors. I'll make sure there's a link to them down in the description below. These little 6 to 8 connectors are pretty cheap. It allows you to use the little pigtails that come off of the double 6 and 8 pins to expand that over. That lets this power supply, you'll use every spot on that power supply for 8 cards, but it gives you all of the ones that you need to have an 8 cards with that power supply. So you will use all the connectors for that. And then on the actual risers, that power supply has 4 SATA connectors, which some have 2 with a 4-pin Molex, and then the rest of them have 3 SATA connectors, and actually one of them has a 4 SATA connector. We're only using 2 per card, so you got 1 here, 2 here, 3, and 4. So it's the 4 SATA connectors that come with that power supply, 2 by 2 onto these actual risers. And these risers are the 6-pin risers, which are like these guys right here. So if you are using the little SATA extension on that plugs into the 6-pin. And if you're doing at scale, like a lot of power supplies, you can pull those off, get rid of that, and that's where you can use one of these power supplies that comes from these China power supplies, which comes with ample amounts of the 6 pins, and you go straight 6-pin into that. So just kind of giving everybody a background on that. There's a lot of new people into mining right now that are watching these videos. I'm seeing it from the questions that are coming, so I'm making sure some of this stuff's old stuff for you guys, but just want to make sure that there's, for the new fresh faces there that are seeing this. Other than that, we're using the 6-pin. These are the version 006C type with the 6-pin. So I mean, the 7s and the 8s, I've heard very good story about them. We're going to be putting an order in for more risers. We'll probably get the version 8 or version 9 6-pin, and we'll let you guys know how that goes. But this build is a little unique too. This has the Z370 board somewhere around here, where that board is. I'm going to grab it so you guys can see exactly which one it is. So far it's been pretty effortless. I'll take you guys on the boot up, and I'm going to walk you guys through the BIOS on this so you guys can see. Good thing is it's a lot like the Z270, but this is the Z370 Prime. That's what's in here. When we fire on the screen here, you guys will see that BIOS. I'll show you all the settings that we did on this. So if you do go with the Z370A, you'll have that. And then lastly, this has the i5. You don't need an i5, but this has that 1151, I think, socket A or B. I think it's 1151. Bottom line, I went the day after Black Friday, and they were like out of everything small. So we were stuck having to get an i5 8600K. We wanted to do this build, so we just went and paid the upcharge on it and got the i5 8600K. So that's this build. It's got 8 gigs of memory on it. It's got 2 sticks of Corsair 3200 DDR4. You don't need that, but we went ahead and just put 8 gig in it anyways. Dual channel. So that's the build. Let's get it plugged in, get it fired up. We'll put it on a kilowatt so you guys can see all that. That's this one. You got any questions or anything? You will melt SATA connectors if you plug more than three in there, and if you're dual mining. So the note that I will say about SATA connectors, if you use the SATA connector on your mining rig, we use the SATA connector in all of our builds, but we do things a little differently if we're going to dual mine like this Devil 13 or this Red Devil rig here. We have we're using one SATA. This 1600T2 has enough SATA connectors where we're going into a single SATA strand here. We're using up every SATA strand that we can here into these 7 cards. If you're going straight 6-pin, that's great. If you have to do that, I highly recommend if you're going to be dual mining, because it's going to put a heavy load on that connector. And if you're running 2 of them, you're going to be pushing this riser at about 50 watts, which these things don't bolt very well when you got 100 watts running through that line. They are perfectly fine if you're doing single mine. I have not had any issues as long as I've kept it to two SATA connectors per strand. You're usually good with the EVGAs. I have had issues before with the Thermaltake RGB 850. I had 2 on 2570, or I had 2 per strand on 2570s, and when we were dual mining with it, we actually frayed one of the ends on one of the connectors. It kind of started to melt it. And it's a dual mining thing. When you're really taxing that card, it really puts a heavy stress on those SATA connectors. So I do recommend, if you're going to do that, that's where one of these, where you can go to the 6 pins directly, you're in a lot better shape. Or you can split it to like 2 750 watt power supplies, like if you're doing a smaller build, or 2 1000 watts, and use the connectors for the graphics cards, and then use the rest on the other power supply, use those for your 6 pins into your riser. So you can use 2 power supplies in that kind of build too, and save yourself that trouble.
If you're using 2 power supplies, how do you know what to plug into each power supply?
How do you know what to plug into each power supply? So,
or is there a methodology to that?
I mean, it's just a distribution. So what I would do on 2 power supply situation, we did just do a build. I don't think I covered it, but we did 2 850s across was 7 1060s, and it seemed like a way overpower, but we wanted to power all of the no, sorry, it was 580s, 584 gig cards. They wanted to dual mine with it. We went with 2 850s, which is 1600 watts power. You don't need that for 7 of these, but we went ahead and did 6 pins. So we did, out of the cards, because it was 8, it was an 8 card build, we did 4 and 4. We split the risers with the connectors, and then we did 4 on each of the power supplies. So don't overload one power supply. Kind of distribute it evenly if you can. Even if you have one that has like 1 extra card, that's fine, but try to distribute both the riser power and the top of the card. And I try to keep them together. So if I'm powering one card, I try not to. I mean, I've done it before because I've had to, where I've had to go with a riser off of another power and the main power for the card on another power supply. But if you can, try to keep them the same, just for your own sanity. Just because if one power supply goes out, the card loses power, but it's still getting fed from the top from the other power supply. So try to keep them succinct, but try to split them with regards to, if you have like a 6 card build, do 3 cards, split them between the 2 power supplies. And you should have enough 6 pin to use for the risers. So, and if you have the spacing right, you can have the spacing just close enough to where, even on these pigtail situations like this, you can have the riser close enough to where you can plug it both in. So like on this particular situation, if these cards are close enough to where if I had these plugged into riser, they both would make it, because there's about 2 inches. If you go more than 2 inches on this kind of setup, a pigtail like this isn't going to work if you're powering 2 risers. It's about 2.5, I think, is your limit. So if you're spacing them closer to 3 inches, you're not going to be able to do this kind of situation with the pigtail setup. So I think we beat that one to death. But it's kind of like need to know stuff. I mean, like, you guys need to know that if you're building a rig and you're trying to distribute your power right. But again, the SATA, I mean, I know people have had issues with it. I've seen people have issues with it. I've seen some of the posts. We've had issues with it when we dual mine. So Really recommend you go into straight 6 pins from that, and then make sure your distribution's right, because dual mining does put a heavy load on everything. Let's get some network. We do got windows for this. I did build a simple mining for all of them also. So we're going to get this one fired up here. Got everything. I'm missing power. Let's see here. Kilowatts. Get that guy up here. Huh? Kilowell.
That's what I heard.
There's most people will not know what that is. I will laugh if somebody knows what that's from.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, it's awesome. Talking about. Make sure this is on watts. It auto started up because we had set it to. Let's try to go into the BIOS first.
Dimensions on your 1070 rig?
Yes, we will do that. So on this rig, the length of across the top is 28.5 inches. You guys from across the pond can do the math on that through a calculator on what the centimeters on that is. So 28.5 that way. It's 17-inch depth this way. Normally I do 16.5 here, and that's really just to cater to the motherboard and the power supply if they're going to be next to each other. 16.5 still works too, but then this one I did 17 just because I wanted the bundle to be a little closer. And then on the height, we're at 12.5 inches. Normally, like this one here right next to it, you guys can see the height difference. This one's 10.5. So 12.5 here, 10.5 here. Having a little extra room underneath when you have, I mean, 7 cards, I probably should have did it there. I just decided not to. But I like having a little extra height, especially if you need to get in there and change some risers and stuff out. It's just more convenient to have the extra height. You do spend a little more space. And plus the breathing, at least from the motherboard, gets a little more air underneath it. But that's the dimensions. This one, just for a spot, is almost the same. It's instead of 28.5, this one's 27, which is good for 7 cards. 28.5 is good for 8 cards. This should be the same, 17 and then 10.5 from the height. So your 27 gets you that. And the spacing between the cards is right at 2 inches. A little, just under, or just over 2 inches per card spacing. Gives you that space. And the trick to that is, the easiest measurement is you take a card and you kind of get it almost close to the edge, and you just draw a line with a dry erase marker. You move it over to the line that you just drew, draw a line, move it over to the line that you just draw, and do that across all the one, and then you put one on every other box, and that gives you the right kind of spacing, at least for the cards this way. You get a little weird gap, and the people that are going to be super anal retentive on the centering can, yeah, but that'll get you the right kind of spacing. Just if you're trying to build it, you don't have to get a measuring tape and try to do all that crap. Just one card measure, one card measure, one card measure. You know, just keep moving them over and then do them every other box. So let's get this switched over. So went into the BIOS very first. The reason why we're going through this really quick is this is the Z370. So I want to show you guys kind of the setup of that. That way you have that. So it looks a lot like the same as the normal Asus Z270. Also the B250 Mining Expert. A lot of they're using this same kind of BIOS standard. Again, you see the i5 that's in there. If we go to F7, which takes you to the advanced menu like all the rest of them, the very first thing that we did is we went into Tools, and we go into here, the Easy Flash. We go over to By Internet. As long as you have the internet connected, you hit OK. You hit OK to flash. I'm going to go ahead and let it do this because we're going to run through this real quick. We should have the latest BIOS, but this is the newest, the Z370 just came out not too long ago, so you're going to get to see this process just to make sure. If there is a BIOS update, it's just going to fire back up and it's going to tell you, hey, there's one. And we went ahead and applied it. So that was the very first thing that we did. I'll show you guys the BIOS number that we're on, and just in case if you get this, if you're building this rig. And then it comes back here, and you need to hit that internet again. So you need to move it back over, and then you just do DHCP, and then that way it'll get an IP address, and then it gives you that smiley face up there if the BIOS is up to date, which it is. So you want to make sure it's the latest BIOS. We're going to exit that. We're going to go back to F7, and we're going to go over and I'm going to show you what we changed. I left all this the same. I just left it on auto. Nothing under the platform. It was all disabled. CPU configuration we left the same. The system agent configuration, I personally turned on the VT-D. I just hate the fact virtualization is turned off. You don't have to turn that on, but you definitely need the above 4G decoding. Under the Z270, it's actually under, I believe, the boot. On the Z370, this board here, it's under the advanced menu. Under graphics configuration, I didn't touch any of that. I left it under the CPU primary graphics because we use the onboard HDMI. Under the DMI OPI configuration, we went in there. We changed this to Gen 2. Under the PEG port configuration, we changed both of these to Gen 2. Nothing under the memory configuration. Now, one other thing that you'll notice, there's 3 areas on the Z270 that you change under the PEG port configuration. There's another submenu right at the top here. On this one, there isn't, so it's a little different there. Now, on this one, since there's 7 cards on the board, we had to go in and make sure also that let me go back up, that under it's PC, this one needs to be Gen 2 actually. That's where they put it under the PCH configuration. That needs to be PCI configuration, PCI speed Gen 2 there. And then under the storage, I believe we didn't touch anything under this particular one. We left that all the same. But under onboard device configuration, you need to go down to M.21 configuration. If you're going to go 8 cards on this board will actually do 9 if you use the second M2 adapter, PCIe adapter. You have to go in there and change that to PCIe mode X2. Under advanced power management, that's why when I plugged this in, the power turned on, because it restores, provided the power goes off and the machine's off, let's say your power's out, and then when your power flips back on, the machine will auto restart. That was set on, that's why it booted up when I plugged it in, versus me having to click a button. You can have that off if that annoys you, but I recommend leaving it on if you want it to come back up after a power loss. Network stack, we left all that just enabled. It doesn't, you could turn it all off if you don't want it to pop up the network. And then all that was left the same. Nothing under monitor, nothing under boot, and that's it. And I believe, let's see here, I don't know if that shows all the, oh, it lets you have a drop down. This one doesn't have the graphic animation of all the GPs. And that was it. So we're saving that because we just changed that other one to Gen 2. Now we're going to boot this all the way up. Now you want all those to Gen 2, and I just wanted to make sure you guys saw all that. We're going to go ahead and take this all the way up, and then we'll start playing around with, see what these 1070s can do. Let me look at some chat while we're coming up. From where you downloaded an AMD RX driver that included the GPU workload option. I have the latest on for it, but I don't see that. Thanks. You want to get the 1710.2 driver, which is the latest driver, I think. And then when you're under gaming global settings, you'll see it under the first tabs at the top. You'll have your graphics card. You should have 4 options up there with the 4 different graphics cards, and you'll see it under the GPU workload. All right, so it's up. Let's take a look here. So that i5-8600K is actually a 6-core. It's a direct 6-core. These are not virtual. These are full logical processors. Again, you don't need it for a mining rig unless you're going to just do like XMR, and maybe we'll close this out and do XMR on it tonight. This has the Windows 10 with the 1709 update. So that's the Fall Creator update. You know that you're on the Fall Creator update if you see GPUs in your performance windows here. That's kind of your giveaway. If you don't see GPUs in your window down here, normally you would only have CPU, memory, disk, and Ethernet. If you don't see GPUs in your window, you're not on the right update. So you just you just type in Windows Update there and just let it do its thing, and get you up to the latest update. We'll go over here. Let's do a look at the peek at the device manager. Make sure it sees everything. And there they all are. 1070 Ti's. Let's do a GPU Z. Take a look at them. I think it's pretty much Micron on all these. Or maybe our Zotac had Samsung. Can't remember. P104s. Actually, we'll leave that up. We're going to leave that up and leave it on sensor. On one of the GPUs. Leave that guy over here. I'll have the screen nice and big so you guys can see it. Let an afterburner open. Or an afterburner 4.4.0. Drop that guy to 70. We're going to change this temp limit. It won't even come to that limit anyways. Take this to a -25. We'll start with that, and then let's do a 600. So let's do this to 65. Most of the 1070s like 70, but we'll try 65. Leave that over here. Get this set up so you guys can see this too. You guys can't see the kilowatt. I'm going to bring up the screen for that for you. Bring up that screen while that's if you see that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we'll get it closer when you need it. Why they don't have a backlit kilowatt? Do they have a backlit kilowatt? I don't think they do. Well, we always start with the good old Ubik. We're setting at 80 watts. kilowatt. So 31 across the board. We're at 1,060 watts. I think that's high.
Are we taking interns?
We taking interns?
Someone asked.
I don't know yet. We might have to do a GoFundMe if we don't get our other stuff turned back on for the. We'll go through that in a little bit here. Evidently, Amazon no love for us anymore. I'm just making sure this thing's running stable here. It looks like it is. So 152 mega or 151 mega hash. I think the power's a little high. I think we can get that a little lower. And we're at 1,050 watts for 8 cards. See if you guys can see that. My focus gets lost. Click that. That's the power right now that we're looking at. 1064. Giving Ubik a little bit of love. Oh, we never had it over here. Let's see here. What was its peak? It's max 60, yeah, 66. Didn't show much there. We got hardware 64. I think that shows the power. I want to see the power per GPU. Can I get a hodl? 1064, I run that on 6 1070SCs. So I guess that is a little better. I could have sworn our other 1070 rig was doing better than that, but
So they're saying everyone kind of died inside a little when Bitcoin hit 11K and they all held.
oh, that's fine. Don't get caught up in that. It's gonna bounce right back. The CME's not even in it, guys. Futures trading's not even in. This is a big ploy to make everybody sell when it's 9. And there was going to be some pullback. Some people were going to take some cash. Alright, so let's look here. I'm looking for GPUs. Lots of sensors on that. I don't care which one. GPU power. That's what I want to look for. So we're going to go back to... Let's do some ETH. Play more. I think we can get this. We can get this lower. Well, what our goal here is, guys, is to keep that 31 to 32 mega hash on these and try to get that power under 1,000 if we can. I think on 8 cards, that's a pretty decent return from a power usage standpoint. So we're still a little high. I think 116 on the watts on the card. So that's the power on each of those GPUs. 116, that one's at 118. 117. I mean, temps are staying pretty decent. We're talking 50s. Option 58 is going to hang. Yes, we do have some more hodl pool entries coming down. We got Hush. I think it was Zcash. There's a few out there. Hodl pool can tell you all the ones that we're going to put on there. So we're using the latest drivers right now, just to give you guys a kind of idea what we're using here. This was a fresh build of Windows 10, Creator Update 1709, latest NVIDIA driver display, 38.8.43. That's the version that we're using right now. See if we can get some power down. Let's try to go negative 50 on that. I don't think we're spiking the CPU anyway, so I don't think it's throttling up. But we'll see. Zen! Say it, Carter. Hodl Zen. Zen Cash. They got some stuff coming out for them. I think they're doing some secure nodes. I haven't read a lot about it, but I've seen the press. So it looks like we're holding the same there. Did we drop the power? Yep, we did. We got it below. Look at that. 8 cards, folks. 8 cards at 980 watts. Kind of close there. Oh, it fell over. They can't believe it either. The camera fell over. It's stunned. I like the lighting that this thing does. I have to hold my hand there. 984 watts. That is pretty stellar. That dropped the TDP right there at 60, which it should. I close out hardware. I did. Puts us at 108, 106 watts per card. That's pretty decent. Still holding 31.7.
Did you find your duplicator earlier today?
I did.
Somebody's asking about it.
The duplicator is amazing.
Wow, that's informative.
I'll show it in a minute, and we need to put a link to it. So let's let another Ethereum. I want to run this a little longer, guys. So we're gonna talk through something why I let this run. I want to see stability. It's all about stability. So let's see here. If we're gonna do like a Zcoin or something, we need to bump up the processor or the CPU power. But let's do. Let's go ahead and do Ethereum Classic 12. I've been mining Ethereum Classic lately. We'll just give that a whirl. I was reading a comment there. We'll let this run for a second, and I'll switch back to this, guys. So while we let that cook, you guys, oh, you guys can't see the window there.
33?
I was doing 33. I'm gonna let this go to, you guys can have, no, not that one, that's the other one that got added. I'm gonna forget, that window is not working. Add, capture, there we go. Just where we can see it. This one running.
You're saying with the Vega 56 can do full power now at 130 watts per card. You recommend them over the 1070Ti's.
I mean, you can find them.
They just get so hot.
Oh yeah, so the Vegas, we can talk about the Vegas for a second too. The Vegas 56s and 64s are great if you can find them. Like now enough people have done enough testing across the board to figure out a good sweet spot for the Vega 56 and the 64s. But they are like hair dryers. They put out a ton of heat, like an absolute metric ton of heat. So instead of radiating around the card with fans just kind of spinning and keeping it cool, it is like a tunnel of heat. So two of them. I have two Vega 56 or Vega 64s and one Vega 56, and it will heat up an entire room just with three of them. So you got to know if you can deal with the heat, you're good, and if you can find them. I want to build at least a 6 or an 8 card Vega 56 or a 64 card build. I want to do that. I physically have not been able to get them unless I'm going to pay some crazy exorbitant price on it. So I'm trying to get them at a decent rate, and they're just not. I'm not finding them at a decent rate right now.
And that rig can go in the bedroom, so I can stay warm all night.
There you go. So yeah.
My own personal space heater.
We have a space heater for the bedroom, but that's the thing with the Vegas. Yeah, so if you can find them, they give great output for what they are. You 125, 130 watts, and you can pop out 34, 35 mega hash easily out of them. You can bump them up to 42 if you want to spend some more power on them. Mega hash on something like ETH Classic or Ethereum. So yeah, great cards. They're just the expense, they just don't make sense for the expense side. So while we're letting this one cook for a second, just real quick. So we're going to keep the links and stuff down in the description below, guys, but we just had some issues with our Amazon affiliate. It actually just got canceled. Like Amazon came in and knifed it. So right now it's down. That actually breaks our website store, because all we were doing is just forwarding you guys to Amazon anyways. And it broke all that. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with that. That kind of actually impacts us quite a bit. But we're trying to figure it out. The Amazon, we're trying to appeal it. We'll see what happens. But just if you don't see, if certain things are not working, and I'm really just saying this mainly because the site right now is kind of be jacked up when you're trying to hit some of the links. All the ones down in the description should work, and we'll still put them there to forward you guys over there. Might start adding some new egg in there since Amazon kind of threw us under the bus here. But if I'm not going to get any affiliates from anybody, then I guess it's no holds barred on whoever I refer. But we won't be getting affiliates for anything. So evidently what they told us was that it was nothing that we were doing necessarily wrong, but evidently I have to make sure that when you guys click links, you don't bookmark them or something. And I think there were some folks, and God love you, but I guess they don't like people bookmarking some of the links. I guess people were just clicking through and using the same riser link, which makes sense if you think about it. If you find a riser in this space and it works, you want to go buy that riser again. So the couple of the metrics they threw to me were yeah, you have 2,600% click through on these few links, and it looks like it's being gamed. I'm like, no, it's the space. And once people figure out, and mind you, those were on risers, and I think the power adapters are things that I had tens of thousands of percentages of click-throughs on. And it wasn't that we had tens of thousands of cells on them. We weren't. I mean, there was only 500 or something that were sold. It was just people were using the link and just rebuying from the same person, or from the same link. So evidently there needs to be some behavioral changes or something, the way I do it or something like that. So we're going to see if we can get it restored. It's a pretty decent impact to what we're doing. I mean, we were using a lot of the supplemental. Mind you, we buy cards and I mean, by the hundreds, right? So I mean, nothing that we're making off of Amazon reciprocates into the actual mining of the rigs, you know, the mining rigs, because I mean, one of these rigs are $4,000. Some of them are even higher, like when you're talking a 13 card 1080 Ti rig. I mean, that was like a $12,000 computer. There's nothing that we're making off of anything that's people are donating or that are all, that is like capital investment that we make. All that extra stuff that you guys are throwing to us, you know, in you know, donations on the channel and all that kind of stuff, or if you guys are clicking on the links and stuff like that, that's what enhances us to bring you guys different content. Like there are cards that I would never buy that I'll buy for you guys and show you, like, no, that's probably not going to be good for the stuff that we do with it, right? So we've always tried to be transparent with you guys. That's why I always bring up the Amazon affiliates and all that. I'm very above border on that. I even tell you guys to go click other people's stuff, right? But evidently it's one of those things like Fight Club, you don't talk about it, and that's what they kind of dinged us on. So in that, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. It's nothing that you guys, and there's nobody can really do, where they'll see if they'll restore it for us. But you know, it does impact, because I mean, that's that kind of incentive for us to, you know, do different things for you guys. So hopefully they restore it, and we can put some disclaimers on there like, hey, I love this riser too, but you gotta like click some other link to get to it because some algorithm tells them that somebody thinks that they're gaming it. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too myself of how that works. But you know, again, you know, we're just looking for a way for folks to be able to click through, make sure that they're getting the same stuff when I'm talking about a thing. Part of the Amazon for years, we've had this channel since 2013. We started doing an affiliate of anything in May of this year. So we went like 3 years on YouTube and never did any kind of affiliates at all. We had like a little donation thing, but it wasn't a big deal. We just did everything for you guys. So you know, a lot of people came up and was like, hey man, you should do affiliates. And I was linking Amazon for free. Like I was just referring you guys without any affiliate. And then we decided to turn that on, and it gave a little bit of revenue for us to do other cool stuff with. So hopefully they turn it back on, and we can have that extra. I mean, I pay for development for it, or we do things with it, you know. So that's giving back to you guys. I mean, part of that whole mining database thing that we're building right now, and the support, bbtsupport.com, and I have developers working on it right now to turn it on for you guys. That's all paid for from that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, we'll figure it out and see what we can do about it. And you know, if not, then maybe we'll figure out a different way to raise cap for that. But we're going to get back to this. The links are still down there for these things, and they're not turned on, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, that way you guys know at least what, if you are trying to purchase the same thing, you guys can at least bounce it off of, you know, that link, and then go price it to Newegg and everything else. I say that anyways. Even if our affiliates were turned on, do not overpay for something. Go look. And look at the brand and model if that's the one that you want, and check Newegg, check, you know, every site that you can. BH Photo sometimes has deals, sometimes Micro Center has good deals. Find the best deal you can. Yeah, hell, I even check. I literally go out and sometimes check eBay just to see if somebody got it for a game. They don't want it, they flip it, or if there's a mining. Well, we've only bought one mining rig off of there, but and that's just because I wanted to fill out another rig, but. You know, look around. Try to find a good deal on the cards. Let me get back to this, and let's get back to this mining rig. So that was the shameless kind of plug-in. I keep clicking off my thing here. Every time I go there and click. There we go. So this thing looks pretty stable, and it's still holding that power. I mean, the fans are full up, so, man, that thing sucks. If anybody knows a kilowatt, like, person, I'm going to send them a note and say, you guys need to make a backlit one. I know it's kind of like a self-defeating thing, like if it's backlit, because then that's using power, but it really needs to be backlit. All right. So let's check out. So that was let's do all the coins that we don't have to touch the CPU on it first. Are the the actual GPU's core clock, because we're going to bump the core clock when we do some of these other coins here. Monero, probably, that uses some core. I don't think SIA matters on the core. $12,000 mega hash on SIA. It's right there. Yeah, 12,400. You want to see XMR. I think I need to bump the bump it up some. Let's see here. We'll try it with the core down, and then we'll bump up the core. We'll see if it makes a change. 18. Oh, died. Recognized miners. Wait a minute. Inoperable program batch file error while running miner. Hold on. I think I can fix that. That might be just an error in my miner. Does that really? We did testing on that. That should have worked. Hold on real quick. Hold, please. We'll try Electronium real quick. Yeah, it's dying for both of them. So let me look here. XMI NVIDIA internal command. That looks like just it's missing a variable here. Let's take a look at it. Let's jump into the multi-miner and see what we're doing here. So that should be fine. XMR is number 18. 18 goes to Monero 3. Passed it. Hush, Pascal, Saya, Monero. Monero 3. Goes into miners. That folder there. Let's check. Let's give it a whirl. Miners. Let's look at this JSON here. It's all right. Crypto Night. The block and threads might be off. That should matter. Is not recognized. Oh, it's been cleared. That's why. Well, let's do this. Hold, please. We can fix this, folks. Let's go to bits. It's what the problem here, guys, is the copy that I have has the file missing here. So let's do bitsfortrippin.com. We'll click that. We'll click that. Down at the bottom, which takes you to Steemit post. If you haven't followed us on Steemit, go make a Steemit account. Click that link. Oh, no, not that one. Back to here, this link. Download. No, I do not want to store files on this device. That's old Kim.com doing his new thing, trying to. That's his version of the IPFS, Interplanetary File System. Let's see if this thing throws an error. extract, downloads. Turning that off just in case. There's a false positive that's in the XMR miner. We built this one from source. Well, let's do this now. Let's try... Is that 18? I think it was 18. There we go. Like a boss. When in doubt, reload. Check the hash rates. That is just one GPU. Oh, did we only have it set to 1? Let me look here. Miners, XMR, edits, there should be a there is a setting in here that should tell us how many GPUs it's going to. I don't remember if it was index. Let's try this XMR miner. We include 29 miners with the multi-miner, and inside the miners folder has all the raw ones. Just because you don't see it in the selector doesn't mean that it's not there, because it is. Like the other different miner setups. Yeah, this is only doing the one. I think we need to set the so it looks like one of the cards are getting 680. Yeah, that's not it. I don't mind XMR. I'm not your XMR expert. But I think I have to tell it to throw it to all the threads. But the let's just say the 1070 Ti is not your friend on XMR so far. Let's see here. I'm gonna nuke this version. Oh, it's running here in the background. Let's close that. I'm going to kill this version because I want the one that we downloaded. Because that has the other... I don't know what else it killed. Let's see. Pearl. Anybody even mining that anymore? Let's see here. 61. Yeah, I'll do the Goldens next. We'll do a few more on these 10. I think these 1070 Ti's are actually. I mean, if you guys can find a good deal with them and they're pretty close to the 1070s, the power is almost worth it. Yeah, Pearl's the same thing as that. Let's juice up the core and do some. I mean, I think that's your settings right there. If you want about 31.5. Now we could take the core up a little more. Or the GPU. Let's try this. Or this memory here. Let's try 750 on these at 60. Usually you have to bring up the power. Let's just see if they hold. Let's check the... We're still at 990 on the wattage on the power. It looks like they're doing 32.5. That's 260. Power... 990. You can kind of see it when I put my hand over there in the autofocus.
So did you put the golden cards in a bronze case instead of a gold case?
Yeah, I totally screwed that pan up, but it still looks cool. All right, let's juice these up and then we'll check the Goldens. This is already an hour long. I'm gonna give it a little more power just because we're gonna be taking the core up. Let's take the core to 125. Sometimes they don't like that much core, but we'll see. And let's try some Zencoin. We'll try Zcash too. Oh, that's nice and slow. $1,000, 1150, 1155 when you're doing that. $4,000 souls there. Yep, that looks like that's holding about 4,000 souls. There's a little more juice though. Bitcoin. Who's all mining Vert out there? Legal instruction found. I think it was too much on the probably too much on the core for Vert. Zcash. See if the core is too high. Oh, we got an accepted share. We're at about 1150 for the 8 with the 125 core 750 memory. Not too bad on efficiencies. Nice hash, please. I didn't download Nice Hash on here. The problem with Nice Hash is the damn waiting for the damn testing. Mona to the multi-miner. Well, we got a rejected share. We got one that's pissed off. Library, anybody mining library? $2,500 mega hash. Library at 1100. If you juice up there. What else we have not done on these guys? So I think the moral of the story here is that it's a little more power efficient than the 1070s. We confirmed that. The 8 works like a boss. On the Z370, I'll do a close-up of them if you guys want. KMD should be the same as well, the other ones we just did. Need that one. Feather coin. Did you take any of the profits at all on Feathercoin mining? So I did put a sell out there for I think like 30 cents maybe. I think it was like 30 cents on some, like 2,500 coins. But it dipped a little further and I bought back in. So I'm holding my Feather. We're all looking for the dollar break point for Feather in some time in its life maybe. Yeah, 7,600 kilohash. That is Feathercoin right now. Or the one that you guys, were just asking in chat was Library with the 2,500. One that's going on right now is Feathercoin. I think that the delay's pretty high on this. Boo! Got a boo share. Blueberry representing. You can give a wrench to Holo Pool. Oh, I did the wrong miner there. Z Classic. Oh, Z Classic's actually going to mine against the i5. What are you doing?
Hold on. I can't do it from mine.
Oh, can you click the if you clicked anything, you need to click the stream deck again. 'Cause I can't
I
move it.
didn't click anything, I just moved it.
Oh, okay. And it's getting nothing. All right, you guys want to see the golden samples? Yeah, yeah. The XMR I need to set to have all the threads. Right now, it's only doing one card. XMR.
You've run more than 13 GPUs in Windows, right?
I've ran 21 in Windows.
There you go. They're all saying yes to start switching the rig.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I was actually looking before we shut it down. What the hell is shut it? I was gonna try one little. I think my problem here is this, and I need to tell. I need to have every. Every one of these like I need to do this to 8. So that's 4. Copy. Oops. Z. Copy. Paste. And for the people that are super anal like me, there, you have to have that backed all the way up over here. And then I have to tell it 1, 2. I think this index ID is the 3, 4, GPU 5, GPU 6, GPU 7, save. Saving in the JSON config. If that works, 18. Didn't like something because I probably broke something else. 1 second. We're working through this together, folks. I need to have. What am I missing here? That's the start. I might need to have these in their own brackets. We'll try with 2. This is a syntax problem right now.
Did you see what Arrow Cloud said?
No.
About parentheses.
What do you say?
I can't read that. It's in parentheses.
Oh. What am I missing? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm still missing it. It's thinking that I need the a different bracket, not those brackets.
What text editor are you in?
Notepad++. It's wanting this. I need to do the big close, huh? I need to put and I'll put the open on the way back down.
You need commas after the closing brackets?
I don't think so.
3 people said yes.
Commas after the close bracket? Oh, God. Okay.
Those aren't commas.
No, they're not. And I should know this because this is the same as like almost the same as Linux. So here, there. Well, the good thing is I'm going to have this fixed for the next multi-miner. That should be... Like a boss! Not so much. Out of memory. GPU went out of memory. It's not that memory. And we should have plenty of... plenty of that. So no more of that. Good air. Alright, tell you what. Let's do this. Let's give it a restart. We'll try this one last time. If it doesn't work, then it was a valiant effort. We actually got it to initialize. We'll just have to figure out the memory issue. And then we'll bring over the RX580.
Increase your page file.
It's up 40.
So, do you want to discuss January?
Oh yeah. So well, I'm gonna do an actual episode with that. So we're gonna be giving teasers. Yeah. So we are going to be taking the BBT crew down to the North American Bitcoin Conference. We have 5 of us going right now. We're looking, we may have more, I'm checking people's schedules, but we are going to be down at the North American Bitcoin Conference, and we are going to be live streaming down there, and we'll be bringing you guys some content from down there live. I should be able to meet with almost all the folks down there, all the big folks, Charlie Lee, and I don't know if you guys know Marshall Long, and I think Omar Bam's going to be down there. I'm going to try to meet with all those folks. And we'll be doing a live stream. It's going to be a good time.
And where is it?
It's in Miami. I said Miami.
No, you didn't.
North American Bitcoin Conference in Miami. Oh my God, the virus I found. What? Defender, no! Allow. Don't touch my stuff. It is a false. Oh, I killed it. It friggin' deleted it.
They really want you to install Nice Hash while you're on the 580s, so that way you can come over and show it.
All right. Hold on. I'm doing one last thing here. I'm copying, so it deleted some stuff, so I'm fixing it right now. Quickly. Place. Can it do it? Nope. GPU error 7, unspecified launch failure.
I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, and it just died. Alright, so we'll pull down Nice Hash. We'll kick it off and then we'll switch over.
You actually got 21 cards running in Windows, right? Didn't we say this? Deja
Yeah.
vu.
Yeah, we got 21 cards. Look at our, just watch our 21 card world record, and you'll see I had 21 cards running in Windows. No bots allowed. I need to get the Bitcoin address. Hold on there. And then we're going to switch to the other. Oh, we had some money in there. Huh. Fancy that. course, we're going to benchmark the CPU too. I'm going to do a quick one because that's still, that quick takes forever. All right, so we're going to switch over. While that's doing that, and I'm going to switch over the video to, I got to run this differently. We'll leave those on. And I do have a kilowatt already on this other one. That's going to be interesting on how I have to show you guys the power though. Oh, I already have to run this around. Because that's, yeah, I can still make it over there. Let's bring this over here. Where is that? There we go. All right. Now this is the 7 PowerColor Red Devil Golden Sample RX580 8 gig cards. 6 of them are Hynix memory, 1 of them is Samsung. And we're running an i3 I think on this. Bring this over, here we go. And let me change the display settings here. So this has been running for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I restarted this machine to move it around earlier. You can see these running at 30, and we will bring up. These are fixed. You can push these things to 2250. The BIOS that we got for these things are hard coded. I think I got them in. They're on another drive. We will get these BIOSes updated to you guys. This was a fresh new build. I used a different hard drive, I believe, to update these ones. But I have the BIOSes for these. So we took, there was a few people that had posted the Hynix version of this BIOS out there, and we made some alterations to it. I didn't like how low the voltage was set on it. I'm just scared when I throw the voltage down too much on something that I'm going to burn something up. So we brought it up a little bit. It didn't bring up the power too bad. Right now we're letting it run. I'll show you guys the power on this. So for 7 cards, now this is no 1070, so prepare yourselves. But power cost here, this thing's spinning on me. We're at 1125 right now on this rig. 1125 for 7 cards, running a 210 mega hash, which is not bad for 7 AMDs. I mean, it's just not too shabby. So and right now we're running this on ETH Classic. So let's do let's bring up GPU-Z. I'll let you guys see that real quick. And again, I will put the BIOSes out there for you guys in the description of the video. I was actually going to do that before this video, and then that's when I got that Amazon news, and it kind of just caught me up. I had to go out there and wear out people on the chat to find out what the heck's going on with that, and it just balled me up. So I will get this out on the description when we make it live here. But let's go ahead and look at the sensors on this. And right there, you're about 110 watts. That's about it. I mean, that is not bad. That's That's not too shabby for what we got going on here. I mean, for a RX580. Again, these are using the compute driver. So if we, wow, that thing blew that up when it, hold on. Hold please, it did not like the thing unless I restart. Let's do that. I can't show you that detailed screen because it's not wanting to reciprocate that. So let's do a restart real quick, and then we'll leave it at 150%. Coming up. Now we are using a 1600 T2 on this power supply. Let's do this. So this has got the 17, I believe the 1710.2 driver. Let's validate that. Sorry, 1711 to November 24th. That's the driver we're using on this. When you put that driver on, under gaming, I'm going to give it a second. Right down here, GPU workload. On each GPU, you need to make sure it's set to there. Now this is a finicky pain in the butt. When you go to switch this to compute and you hit apply, it's going to ask it to restart this thing. There are chances that you're going to get to like your third or fourth GPU and this thing's still going to say the graphics. If you've set it to compute and it's redone it, do the rest of them and then restart the machine and then go back and invalidate it. I had that issue with this one, and when I rebooted, all of them were on compute. Actually, I think on the last one I had, it still said graphics. I switched it to compute. It didn't take, or it didn't look like it took. I rebooted one more time and then everything was good to go. So this AMD driver with this compute thing is still kind of a pain, but it is a lot more stable once it's done than the old blockchain driver. So the BIOS on here is locked. I think I already had them set hard-coded on that BIOS. I think that's the way we set it. Let me look here. Move this to the side. Did I put Afterburner in here? I don't think I did. Let's get Afterburner on here. Wait for it. Extract. Afterburner installed. You guys probably wonder, you guys watch all my videos and you're like, why do you have to load these every time? It's because we build these pretty much right around the same time or right before we do the live streams, and most of this stuff just has to happen. And plus I got them locked. So I'm not seeing this right here because I already had hard-coded the GPU and power on these. Bring this up. So you guys can see what they're set to. Thing's taking its sweet time trying to scan out the GPUs right the first time it does it. I'm reading you guys' chat. Taking its sweet time. Why it's taking its sweet time doing that? Let's do some mining. Probably is going to do something I don't want it to do, so I'm just going to turn this off. Still scanning. Really pissing it off now. There we go. It took it a little bit to scan that. I wanted to bring these up. We're going to look at the clocks as they're cooking. Don't need that one up when that's there. That can get closed. Windows Defender not working. Let's do some dual mining love. You guys probably want to see XMR, I'm assuming, on this again, because everybody wants to see XMR. It's the new hotness. So there's the hard-coded clocks, 1200 and 2150. And there's some SATA. Oh, okay. 4100 and 206 mega hash. Power wise, we're at 1386. $13.85. Yeah, it's holding 1386. Dual mining. Now this has got the 1600 T2 in it. Extronium is the new hotness. I like no GPU errors. That's always nice. Any peeking? No GPU errors, no GPU errors, no GPU errors. So those memories and straps, it looks like we got locked in pretty good. No GPU memory errors. Electronium's the new hotness. Let's see. These are 580s. We need 51 for that. So 5,000 hashes. That's like half, or that's not very good compared to like the newer Vega 56 or 64s. Why this is not coming up? Fender is broken. XMR should be close to the same thing. Vega 56 is running into a better value if you can find them for a decent price. But it kind of. We'll have that conversation here in a second. But you're talking like $400, maybe in $380 if you can find them, where these PowerColor Red Devils were $299. Well, I mean, I paid $329 for them, which is a little more than I wanted to pay, but you can find these Red Devils for $299. That's $100 less, and you're getting 30 mega hash out of them, and for 7 of them you're getting about the same power that you'd get out of 7 Vegas. I mean, it's a hard bargain when you can get AMDs that now back down to the $209 to $299 prices, depending which ones you get. If the 56s were just a little lower, they'd be really a big bargain. But I mean, they are probably on the big scale versus like a 1070. It's a real good toss-up. Tried to cred, and yeah, the Vega at 44 mega hash though is putting out a lot of power. You're at like over 200 watts. I get that that's a speed king. But yeah, AMD is, I mean, look at that. That's 6200 to cred and 30 mega hash. That's 210 mega hash and 6200 to cred. I mean, that's... And they put out a ton of heat. Those Vega 56s are like space heaters. The R9s are fine if you have a power plant. What kind of power are we looking at this now? 1375 right now. If anybody's concerned with power, 1375 with the current settings that we're running on this. 7 of these, 6200 to cred. Did get a rejected share here. Let's look at the We're getting some memory errors. It doesn't look like it. So GPU 1, no memory errors. No memory errors there. There, so none of the cards are puking. No memory errors there, no memory errors there. No Windows errors. We did have a couple cards step down though. Let me look at the power. See if it reciprocated it. Power's down just a little bit. 70 Celsius. 76 Celsius. That one's at 81% fan. So they do get a little warm, but they do have a lot better power. They do have a lot better cooling on those cards compared to most of the other. Let's check some feather coin. My feather coin AMD thing not working. I have to fix that. Let's do some Pascal. .29 mega hash on Pascal, is that right? How much power are we using on that? I think it's just using one GPU. $42, $52, $60. We were at 12,000 on the 8 card rig, remember? On the 8 card NVIDIA 1070Ti's, we were at 12,000 SIA. We're at 7,100 here. So NVIDIA is playing well with the SIA coin. Let's see, classic. Yeah, if anybody's going to the North American Bitcoin Conference down in Miami, we will be down there. There's going to be 5 of us down there. We got a couple real nice big things coming to you this between December and January. We're going to be doing that conference, and we were thinking about doing a episode and a stream in the big BBT farm if anybody's interested in that. So actually going through and showing all the mining rigs and the racks and stuff put together in there, and just kind of give you guys at scale a view at that. Yeah, we do appreciate the likes, guys. If you guys take time, give us a like. $2,100 hash, that's pretty common. R7 373 gigs. R7 373 gigs will still do good with like, I'd put them on like ETH Classic. They still do that fine. Those should do about 20 mega hash almost. Did Electronium. Let's do Zencoin. I'd love to see the farm. You guys have been looking for that farm for a while. Man, I gotta go back through all this multi-miner and fix some stuff. Some broken stuff in here. Sometimes it's the pools because the pools will change or an endpoint will change. Just depends. Let's try some Zcash on it. So the big pools getting upgraded are the big mining. So it's a conglomerate, guys. It's not just me. I call it the BBT fam. It's a big collection of us that go into that, and so it's just not me. But that's why it's part of, like, you guys don't see it, is I just want to make sure everybody else is cool with it. And what you see in this area, in the what I call kind of the the BBT Central down here in the basement. This is kind of where all the testing goes through if we're testing out new stuff. But if we're doing stuff at scale, and what I mean by scale is several hundred graphics cards, that's all done at the warehouse. That's about the same as Zcash there. So, I mean, the big story here, guys, on this is, on this one here, is the Rockstar settings right now that we got on these cards are just... I want to get these BIOSes out to you guys if you guys have these Red Devils and available, because, I mean, this is just no GPU errors. Everything's hard-coded. You just plug and play. You do it does the strap update, and it's got good settings both for Samsung and for the Hynix version. Yeah, what's the good $250 card that's readily available? The RX570 is probably, yeah, your best bet for that. So if you guys are wondering which that GPU 3 is the Samsung memory, believe it or not. That's the one card that's different. I had it up to 30, but that one was giving us errors with the settings that we had. So we had to bring that one down a little bit to get it stable. But that 28 right there, about 28 mega hash on that is Rockstar stable with that Samsung card that we have. 30 was just killing the rig. So the rest of them are all solid at 30.5, which is pretty common. You can get these up to 32 mega hash if you take it to 21 or 2250. The problem with 2250, while it works, I was getting over a period of an hour about 20 to 30 memory errors on some of the cards. So you really got to find the cards that give you no memory errors, and you can keep those at 2250. But that's why I use NiceHash, easy peasy. NiceHash just takes a little bit of your cut. Let's just check this. We'll leave this one sitting there cooking on that. And I'm going to switch the video back over to this other rig. I am doing an episode. We did do all the B-roll footage on these. So you guys will see some like quick 5-minute episodes on these. That's just straight to the point. But the episode I got recorded for the 13 card 1050 Ti rig back there. We did a quick video on that. There's no reason to go back through that one, and we do have a video on that one, which is this rig right here. You guys can see that doesn't look too safe. That's not too much better, but shouldn't go anywhere. But that rig is about 175 mega hash, uses it's right at 1,000 watts. I couldn't keep it stable underneath that. What is this? Nice hash. Oh, let me get nice hash. I think is running here. Maybe it's doing its test still. We had nice hash on this this other rig here. Still benchmarking. Look at this, guys. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at how slow this is. That's nice hash for you. 38%. And I did the fast one. I did the non-precise. So what I would say is, if you guys want to know the nice hash on this one, then what I'm going to do is just, if you don't follow us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, and I will post this one on nice hash whenever it figures its life out and starts doing it. So at this rate, I mean, we were on this at least, let's see, I switched over. So this has been running almost 40 minutes trying to get that mining optimization done on nice hash. So I'll let it finish, and then I'll bring it to you guys on Twitter. We'll get the BIOSes out for you guys on this one, but hopefully this was a good video for at least these two rigs. And again, we'll have an episode coming out with this one where I kind of take you through the different options like we do on the normal live streams. With the 1050 Ti rig, we did put Windows on it, and they're actually pretty surprisingly. I mean, if you're stuck without cards right now, or you're looking about building a mining rig, or you just stumbled onto this video and you're like, what's this dude talking about? The 1050 Ti's, you know, you can get a couple of them. They're super cheap, and they put out about 13.5, 14 mega hash a card, and use next to no power. Anywhere 35 to 45 watts of power. Each card, they don't have a 6-pin on them. You know, it's just powered by the riser essentially. So if you can find them cheap, you can get these ones. I saw these for a little bit. These Zotac single fan cards, non-OC. The OC has 2 fans. You can find those for as low as $123 right now. I think they're like $150. But if you catch them on the deals, there should be some more Christmas deals out there. If we can get our Amazon stuff figured out, we'll have the links out there on our store for you guys. And we were trying to keep it updated as much as possible. If you guys have been going out there, you would probably see lots of different links. But until they get back with us to see if we can get our accounts restored, right now, just shop anywhere you guys can find, you know, the best deals, which you should do anyways, regardless of the Amazon links. So hopefully that's good. Tomorrow we will not have a live stream, but I'm looking at having one possibly on Saturday. We'll see if there's some more goods that are coming in, and we'll do another live stream. If not, then that'll be an episode day, and we'll get some of these episodes. We've had them racked and stacked on the episode side that we want to get out for folks. So, and then tomorrow is just development day where we're trying to get BBT support. We got a lot of things done to it. We just haven't pushed it to BBT support, but I want to get that out there deployed to you guys. So that's going to be a build day. So we'll try to live stream hopefully in the next few days, and then bring you guys some more stuff. So, and we definitely will have one about the Bitcoin conference that we're going to go to down in Miami. We're going down there on media passes. just to do events and stuff down there. So I got to send them a logo, so we should see the Bits Be Trippin' logo as part of the media folks down there. They're supposed to put it on the North American Bitcoin Conference website. I need to send them the latest thing, so we'll have that on the channel. And I'll see if I can get a discount code for you guys if you guys want to attend that, and see if they'll put one together. I don't know if they'll do it or not, but we'll see if we can. It won't hurt to ask. But if you're in the Florida, Miami area, it's the 17th of January through the 19th, and you hang out, take some pictures. We're going to bring down a whole bunch of shirts, be handing it out to people down there. So if you go down there, we're going to hand those things out and cards and stuff. So and HODL. The big people are not in it yet. Remember, they're hearing about it. Their accounts are getting set up, but they're not in it yet. So HODL, continue to mine. Remember the time value equation on mining. You're mining right now. You're not mining for right now. You're mining for the future. That's what it always has been about, right? So, you know, if you have to spend your coins, you have to spend your coins, right, to pay off your stuff. But, you know, if you haven't started mining, there's tons of video out there to start mining. So, do some research. Just don't watch us. Like, subscribe, share, and HODL.